Serving as Director General of the Cabinet during Mr. Taylor, can you give us an idea? What were the workings? How were the workings of, how can you describe the workings of government, especially at the Cabinet? Were there regular Cabinet meetings, for example? And if there were, what was the trend of discussions? Was it a so-say, one so-say all? Was there vigorous debate in Cabinet? Were there instances where Cabinet ministers openly differed with the view of the President, for example?
There were quite a number of things that I initiated as Director of Cabinet. But before I go into reciting some of them, let me just say this. There are some friends of mine, very close friends in this town, that are not too happy. And maybe now they probably are putting that behind them, that I took the job to work with the Taylor government. And I can understand their lack of happiness.
Is it because at the time?
No, these are people that respect me tremendously. And some of them have shown signs of disappointment. Signs of disappointment that I have not been able to bring influence to bear to prevent certain things or to stop certain things or to influence certain things in government. And I am humbled by those kinds of expectations. When I was in school in the States, Liberian Student Association, we went to a debate and there was an issue that we were debating. I took a line. I had some of our colleagues supporting my line in the debate. And the other side of the debate took a line, very strong line, and I got upset. I'm citing this to give you an idea of how my own psychology works when it comes to government and the role that I've been playing for the past 20 or 30 years or so. And I got angry at that meeting and I walked out. I went home, I left the meeting on. After the meeting ended, later on, some of my friends that were in the meeting who were actually hoping that I would pursue the issue came to me and said, "Why did you leave? After you left, I mean, we were disarmed. You should not have left." From that day, based on that incident, I convinced myself that I will never again walk away from a debate. Having said that, Taylor gets elected. He invites me to serve as Director of Cabinet. My mission, in my own mind, is clear that I am going to apply my systems analysis training and sort of systematize this country so that we can see how government works. And I got Mr. Taylor to agree with me that we need to develop a program for the pursuit of good governance. That phrase came from me. And Taylor said, Blamo, you have it. He has high regards for my capacities. And I took on the assignment, organized a series of workshops. Prior to that time, no one in this town dare say that government is corrupt, or that Taylor is corrupt, or that this minister is corrupt. No one dared do that. I'm talking 1997. I organized a series of workshops attended by many persons in this town, people from all over the country. The last of those workshops was held at the OU Center with about 300 delegates from all across the country. The conclusion was that there was massive corruption in government. Ministers and all were there, and they were admitting that there's corruption in government at that workshop. All of this documented. Where is this corruption? We went through, we developed all kinds of scenarios, all kinds of whatever. And that was the first time when admission in government, by government, of corruption ever took place in Liberia. For me, my purpose has been accomplished. Dealing with each of those areas where the corruption is taking place, where there got to be a network. Civil society all participated in those workshops. But then the government, as an institution, was having problem dealing with those areas where corruption was taking place, even dealing with some of the government people that were carrying on the corruption. Was I to resign? I said, no, I'm not going to resign. We'll fight this battle from within. I said, no, my friend, you can't fight battle from within. If you will recall, I'm sure some people in this town will remember, I got Mr. Taylor on many occasions to organize and bring civil society to the mansion. Let's have a dialogue, civil society and government. The series of them at my organization, my contribution. Our government must listen. I remember there was a situation where Mr. Taylor saw the newspaper one morning and got very angry. When I got in the mansion, Ernest Eastman, who was then the Minister of State at the time, called me, your friend is angry with Bishop Michael Francis. President Taylor angry. I went to Mr. Taylor's office and he was fuming. As Mr. Taylor was talking, I was very calm. And what he wanted was Michael Francis and myself were doing this town. And the coffee roots, and he went on and on and on and on. After a while, I said to him, Mr. President, you are angry. Yeah, Blamo, this kind of thing that these people can do in this country here. Look at this kind of thing they put in the paper. Lies and lies. And Bishop Francis is part of this thing here. And Bishop Francis is part of this thing. Yeah, but Mr. President, I read somewhere in the Bible, if the king were to get angry, somebody might die. That was my message, my comment to Taylor that day. Ernest Eastman was there. When I said that, and I said it not in a deliberate way, I was just talking what came to my mind and and I saw Taylor move back in his chair. I never forget. He said, go and call Bishop Francis. Let Kofi will come with him too. And I said, thank you. But don't forget, if the king were to get angry, somebody might die. He said, no, nobody will die. Go call Bishop Francis. So I went to Bishop, and that particular day, Bishop and Kofi came to the mansion. They talked for more than 3 hours. I was not in the discussion. At the end of it, and I believe it must have been Bishop Francis' recommendation, let's have a national conference. That's how the national conference that was held started. And Bishop Francis was supposed to organize. I remember talking to Ellen Selling, not on one occasion, not on 2 occasions, on several occasions. Each time she came to Monrovia, I would meet with Mrs. Selling. Mrs. Selling, please, you all need to meet with the Taylor man, the President Taylor. Many times Ellen would say, Taylor myself cannot sit to the same table. But don't tell me that. Yeah, but Madam Salif, this country has got to be run. These are conversations that took place between me and Ellen, me and Taylor. At one time, I succeeded in getting Ellen in the same room with Taylor, hoping that these national leaders would talk about this country. For me, that's my way of finding solutions. It has not worked, I agree. That's my way of finding solutions. So the question of resigning because of these difficulties never crossed my mind.